41% of organizations report using AI agents. But if you look at the data from the past year, only 11% of those agentic use cases actually reached production. There is a massive gap between experimentation and deployment. When these systems do reach production without strict architecture, the consequences are severe. In July 2025, an agent operating on Replit ran unauthorized commands and deleted over 1,000 executive records from a live database. A month earlier, a GitHub Copilot vulnerability allowed an agent to rewrite its own settings and disable human approval. These cascading failures share a root cause. Engineers treat agents as a blank canvas. They improvise the architecture on the fly. They wire a model to a tool, and when memory breaks, they bolt on a database. When a destructive incident occurs, they patch in a safety check afterward. A highly optimized prompt is not a system. Achieving production viability means throwing away a blank canvas entirely and replacing it with a repeatable, structural floor plan. We previously broke down the PTCF framework: persona, task, context, format. That contract gives you a precise, reliable response from a single prompt. But for an autonomous workflow, that is entirely insufficient. A prompt is just one room. Before you write a single line of code, you need the layout for the entire house, a mandatory, reusable 6-room floor plan. This floor plan shows how tasks move sequentially through a distributed system. The process flows through specialized functional blocks, starting at a router, passing to a planner, into tools, and concluding at an evaluator, which features a built-in retry loop upon failure. Internalizing this exact layout shifts your entire engineering objective. You stop trying to invent a custom agent structure from scratch, and you simply wire these predefined rooms together to fit the specific business need. The center point is the augmented LLM, the atomic unit for the architecture. Room 1 is the router, which sits at the front door to classify intent and direct traffic. Room 2 is the planner, breaking fuzzy goals into execution steps. Room 3 is tools, the agent computer interface. This is the only element that touches the outside world. Without it, you just have a chatbot. These 3 front rooms give the system the ability to sort, plan, and act. But deployed in isolation, the agent will still fail. It lacks context and safety. Room 4 is memory, handled as structured state tracking history and execution, not just a vector database. Room 5 is the evaluator, grading output and looping failures back for refinement. Room 6 is guardrails, wrapping the architecture in reasoning, action, and system layers to constrain the agent and validate execution. The action layer guardrail is the explicit defense mechanism. It requires human approval for destructive tool calls, physically preventing database deletions and unauthorized shell access. Together, these 6 rooms upgrade the underlying model. They turn a simple, stateless text generator into a highly resilient, distributed computing system. Stamping the 6 components is step 1. Step 2 is choosing a reference architecture to wire them together. You need to connect the rooms without overbuilding. Pattern 1 is react, a continuous reason, act, observe loop. Pattern 2 is plan and execute, where a planner writes strict steps up front for an executor. Pattern 3 is reflection, where the agent self-grades, critiques, and retries. Pattern 4 is supervisor worker, using a central orchestrator to distribute subtasks to specialized workers. Anthropic's core architectural guidance is definitive. Start simple. You add multi-step complexity only when the simpler solution measurably fails. Mastering orchestration is not about deploying complex multi-agent swarms. It is about picking the smallest possible wiring that fits the task. You earn your complexity. Let's trace a practical request through this blueprint. A user submits a billing question to a customer support desk. The router directs requests down the billing path. The agent uses tools to query databases and payment APIs, while memory pulls customer history to prevent re-asking for order numbers. Finally, the evaluator checks response tone, and guardrails block refunds exceeding policy limits. This entire robust production workflow is achieved by combining a simple router with a basic React loop. Massive multi-agent swarms are rarely necessary for these enterprise tasks. Overbuilding kills agentic projects. It creates exponential orchestration complexity, turning coordination into a bottleneck and making cascading failures impossible to reproduce. Stop reinventing where the components go. Treat agent design as a repeatable, documentable engineering practice. Stamp the layout, wire it efficiently, and verify the output. The blank canvas is where agents go to die. The stamped 6-room floor plan is where they go to ship.